Good morning, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday morning, March 21st. We're looking at window traders market profile of the ESNQ. We're going to do things a little different this morning. I had a discussion last night with somebody. Plus, I think we need a reset. You know, it's easy to just keep going over what the market's doing and give game plans, but there's a couple things that are a lot more important. First off, I'm not sure how many people realize, and I'm going to switch over to the chart first because it's important to show you this. So we're looking at the weekly in SPY, and their charts are just cleaner. Do you realize last year, January 2023, SPY's low of the year was the first trading day of the year? We never saw it. Do you realize this year, 2024, SPY's low of the year is the fourth trading day of the year? And we haven't seen it since. We're 55 days into the trading year. Okay, over 20%. We talk about opening drives on a profile, on a daily, on an intraday. We've had an opening drive on the yearly. Think about that. For over now, 16 months. Why are people trying to short this market? Not only have we had that, right? Here's 23's low. Here's 24's low. I'm sorry. Here's 24's low. And look how much stronger we've gotten. So again, why people are trying to pick tops are beyond me. Now, another thing to keep in mind. And we'll go back now, to the profile. ES just broke out of a 10-day balance to the upside. So people are always looking at price and saying we can't go higher. Well, we've now gone bull, balance, bull. We had a rest period. NQ hasn't even broken out of the balance. They're very close to it. Here it is, the back adjusted all-time high. So balance rules are in effect for NQ this morning. But again, people saying we can't go higher. Well, we're attempting to come out of balance to the upside. These are things that people, our competition, thank God for thank goodness for our sake, is uneducated. There's mindless machines and a lot of uneducated traders. Okay, I enjoy trying to educate the trading public. Many don't want to hear it. So just those things alone are telling you to trade what the market's telling you. It's also a fact that the market makes the news, not the other way around. It took me many years to get that into my head. Everybody's looking at the wars and inflation and everything else and think doom and gloom as we continue to tick to new highs every day. So it's very important to realize the market makes the news. All these stupid things that come out, whether it's the Fed or housing starts or beige book, meaningless in the bigger picture. The market will do what it wants to do. And then the second part of that equation, just as important, is the market will care when it wants to care. So for everybody trying to pick a top, that's the thing that they need to be aware of. When you do come into balance and then come out of balance to the downside, those same people will miss that move. In fact, they'll be buying it. They've been trying to pick tops for a year and a half, and on the first big downdraft, they'll buy it. I mean, these videos and what I do in our trading room, I hope keeps people away from this line of thinking. Now, another thing, and this is going to be a little longer this morning, but it's more important in telling you what's going on. Because what's going on is what? We said a lot of times we don't get the directional move until the next day. Well, we got it yesterday. We got it yesterday after K period, pushed back one more time, and that's going to come into my next story. And then we exploded with a price spike to the upside and didn't look back. And we held trend, and now look. We have a poor high at the all-time high, by the way, right now at 1575. And NQ is getting very close to their balance high. So now the other thing I want to speak about, this was a conversation an back and forth on Twitter privately. Somebody privately sent to me on Twitter after my video, how do you call yourself a trader when you didn't trade the last 2 hours? And I sat there thinking about how to respond to this individual. And look, my first thought is I've been doing this for 40 years. The only person you have to answer to is yourself. I'm not going to let somebody like that get me upset or try to answer in a response to start any kind of issue. And I said, well, quite clearly, I tell my trading room and I tell people on these videos why I don't. I trade for a living. This is my business. My best advantage is reading what the market can do. Come 2 o'clock, that advantage goes out the window on a day like yesterday. That's exactly what I said. And then I also said, well, it seems like you did trade, and I'm assuming you did well, so congratulations. That's exactly what I said. And his response was, no, I did trade, but I thought it was more a case of buy the rumor, sell the news. So when K period came down below C's high, I shorted it. So I said, okay. Now, obviously, if you do that, okay, that's fine. Although, again, I wouldn't be looking to trade at that time. But now you have to have an out. So when K period went back above here and no more acceptance back below inside the day's range, I hope I'm assuming you got out. And the response was back and forth. This is on Twitter. No, I added. So I think the person got hurt really bad. So I said, I'm sorry to hear that. And he came back and said, and this is sometimes where I just shake my head, at least I traded. And the last thing I said to this individual was, no trade is a trade also. Now, I guarantee you this person wasn't the only person that happened to. Because, again, on social media, as many people who would say, okay, they just crushed it from the long side, the majority are lying. And even if 100 people did do that, thousands did the opposite and shorted it and went home short. So I know this is a longer video, but I'm just trying to put out there, and this is for myself too, to keep myself grounded. This is our livelihood for the majority of us doing this. We have to take what the market's attempting to tell us on a daily basis and use that to our advantage. Okay? There's no wishing and hoping in trading. Anyway, just quickly, and I hope that helps. Obviously, we're in uncharted territory here in the S&P. Okay? The S&P and the Dow hit all-time highs yesterday. We're getting pretty close to the NASDAQ. The righty is still very far away. Balance rules will be in effect for NASDAQ this morning. Triple Qs right against the back-adjusted high up at 691. We're looking at gap higher. Upside gaps so far in ES this year have held only 3 out of 13 times. Right now, the gap is 20 handles. So it's getting, it's rather large, but there's still 70 minutes to go. Depending on where the overnight high is, you hear me say this all the time. I mean, that's the only leg to stand on if you want to attempt a short to see if they front run it. That's number one. It's the only short I would attempt, at least at that point. If it were to come in, well, then you could look to take a short if we take out the overnight low to fill the gap. Okay? Not only are we gapping higher, the overnight gapped higher. Look at this. Now, I'm trying to see from the maintenance session. It did not. See? Here's N and O. And that's another important point. For argument's sake, if O period was the overnight all-time high, and then for some reason the market opened lower, now the odds of that was slim. But if it did, I wouldn't have ignored that. I would have used that as my all-time high, even though it's the maintenance period. So important to know that. So those are two short possibilities, against the overnight high and then to finally fill the gap at some point. As far as long, if we get the overnight high, then on pullbacks and ebb and flow trades, I would look for long until something tells me otherwise. Okay? Not going to show you the charts anymore. We're up in all three of these indices. I know this video is a little longer, but hopefully, I think it's a very important one, and people take it for what it's worth. Have a great day trading. Thank you for liking and subscribing to this channel, and we'll recap at 4 p.m.